Hey everybody, Mean Dean here with another episode of Huge Winer TV. What are we talking about today? We're talking about Pinot Noir. I would imagine if you're watching this channel, you've had Pinot Noir at some point in your life. It's a pretty common grape. Comes from all different places in the world. It originated in Burgundy, and that's where the most expensive and famous Pinot Noirs come from. One of the ones I have today is from France. We'll get to that in a minute. Pinot Noir tendencies tends to be very dry, medium bodied, sometimes lighter bodied even. Tannins are generally low. Acidity can be medium plus. My alcohol is usually about 11.5 to 14%. Doesn't usually fall out of those ranges. What do I have here? I've got, if you read this, 12.5 and 13.1, so that makes sense. Where else is Pinot Noir grown in the world? Of course, California makes a lot of great Pinot Noir, especially the Central Coast and Santa Barbara area and Sonoma Coast. Some in Napa too at higher elevations. Oregon, of course, the Willamette Valley is famous for Pinot Noir. The Willamette Valley has the same latitude as Burgundy, so that makes sense. Germany is a huge producer of Pinot Noir where it's called Spätburgunder, and I probably didn't pronounce that right, but it's close enough. Of course, the Central Otago region of New Zealand is famous for some really high-end, classy Pinot Noirs and some cheaper stuff too, but they make a lot of it. Italy, Switzerland, Chile has, in the last 15 or 20 years, started planting Pinot Noir in some of their cooler climate regions. And of course, here in Canada, we make some amazing Pinot Noir in the Okanagan Valley. I got two here to taste. I got one from France and one from Canada. This isn't meant to be a side-by-side comparison because it's really unfair, but not to the one you might think. It's often called the Heartbreak Grape because it breaks the hearts of everyone trying to grow it. It is very picky, very thin-skinned, very finicky. It requires heat in the daytime, cool evening breeze helps. The long growing season is important. It's a very tough grape to grow. It can only grow in very specific places in the world. There are more and more of those places that exist. But it's certainly not as easy to grow as a lot of red grapes. So what I have here, the wine from France. First, you might notice it says on it Pinot Noir. But right off the bat, that's a clue. This is not going to be one of the high-end Pinot Noirs out there because French wine doesn't put the grape on their bottles usually. What they do, they'll do that in the case of cheaper exports. So the fact that this says Pinot Noir on it right away tells me it's not going to be an amazing wine. I shouldn't say that. It could be good, but it's going to be a lower-end export. I know it's good because I've actually tasted it before. We bought this from the Vancouver International Wine Festival, not because it blew us away, but price for value was really good. This was $16.99, and good luck finding a Pinot Noir from France for $16.99. I've had it since the festival, so that was February, so now we're looking at 10 months or so. I'm going to see if it changed at all. But it's a perfectly satisfactory Pinot Noir for that amount of money. Smells pretty good. The reason I opened it today, actually, there's a reason for this. Tonight in an hour or so, I'm going to go cook some Burgundy pork tenderloin, which requires about half a bottle of Pinot Noir to go in it, hence this one. And then we're going to drink it with this one, which is from Canada, Little Engine 2018 Silver Pinot Noir. If you're not familiar with Little Engine, they are about as good as it gets here in BC, or at least if they're not the best winery, they're in the top 5 for sure. They have 3 levels generally. They have a silver, a gold, and a platinum. I think the silver's, I want to say $35, I think, maybe $40. It's as good as reserve wines at most places. They do more than Pinot. They have Merlot and just a Cab Franc, and then this Chardonnay's fantastic. It's an excellent winery. So anyway, I'm going to taste this French one. And let's see if it's changed at all, and if it got better, worse, or anything in the last 10 months. This is not a wine you would age for any significant amount of time. It's been sitting in my fridge behind me, I'm sure, since the festival. I don't think it was ever in the cellar, no. So yeah, it's a very satisfactory Pinot Noir. It's getting... Get the aromas you might think of from a French Pinot Noir. Red berries. A little bit of mushroom. A little bit of earthy forest floor on the finish, which is it's a fairly long finish for a $17 wine. Yeah, it's, you know, want to try a French Chardonnay or French Pinot Noir for $17? You could do worse than this. You wouldn't likely find many of them. There's not going to be a whole bunch out there. So where's these grapes come from? It's not Burgundy, I said. Well, it's a Vin de France, which just means a French red wine. It does say on here that they pull the grapes from the central Loire Valley, which is close to Burgundy, but not in Burgundy. But it doesn't say Burgundy on it. If it was from Burgundy, it would say Burgundy. Now, it's possible some of the grapes are from Burgundy. The Vin de France is the lowest classification that French wine allows. And the grapes can literally be from anywhere in France, and they can be from 25 different places in France. It is 100% Pinot Noir. It does specify that. And I don't really know where it's from. I actually thought it was Burgundy when I bought it, but and like I said, some of the grapes could be from Burgundy. It actually mentions on here that they've it's one of the the winery is called Saget-Le-Perrier, and they consider one of their banner wines. I don't know. $17 Pinot Noir, and it's $17 here. Actually, I think if I remember correctly, it's like $14.99 in the States. So $17 here is a bargain. And like I say, for $17, this is going to be perfectly good to go in my food. It would be okay to drink with it. That would probably have a little bit of it left to drink with it. It'll be okay for that. This will be much better, I'm sure. But you know, sometimes you don't. There's a rule out there: don't cook with anything you wouldn't drink, and that's true to a point. You could cook with things like I wouldn't normally buy this. Like I say, I bought it for, I think I gave it 87 points in my blog, and I was probably being a little bit generous at that time. But it's fine. It's just that the flavors are underwhelming compared to what you get in a big Pinot Noir, or what I'm about to get in this one, I think. So 2018 Silver Pinot Noir from Little Engine. We had the 2017 no more than a week ago, and it was just beautiful. So I fully expect this is going to be the same. Oh, daddy like. Red cherry. Oh, a little bit of strawberry, wild strawberry, raspberry, all the red fruits. Red currant. Just a hint of a funky mushroom coming through, but we don't usually drink these wines this early either, but I have a few of them in the cellar, so I thought, you know, sometimes it's nice to have a record what one likes early. Now, I think the 2017, we'll see how much different this is. Of course, it's a different vintage too, but that extra year, 2017, when you put it to your nose, you almost passed out because it was so intense, and I don't mean that in a bad way. This one's not quite as strong, but it's lovely. It's also only been aerated. I didn't aerate it, but I did decant it. It's been decanting for 20 minutes or so. All right, let's taste. It's a little tough to believe these are the same wine, same grape. Yeah, so this is going to be way better in 2 hours too when it sits. Yeah, like medium to low tannins, as you'd expect from a Pinot. Alcohol, I'd say, is right now. I'd say it's it's medium to medium plus, which is what did I say this one was 13.1. It's not out of the realm of normal. That's a nice one. Not as earthy as this one is, which again is not unexpected. Pinot Noirs in BC can get earthy too, but Burgundy, France generally is a real trait. You're going to get some forest floor, wet leaves, that kind of thing. As it ages, it gets even more so. We had a food and wine night here probably a year and a half ago, where Burgundy was the region. We've done many of these theme nights, and we have a blast. We'll get back to them when COVID's over. But for France, I hosted France, but I split it up into 3 nights. We did Bordeaux, Burgundy, other. And actually, I could have put it up farther, but I didn't want to have 9 different France nights. But we had Burgundy, and one of the wines that I had sourced from wine.com in the States back when we could cross the border and pick up wine was a Louis Latour, or Louis Jadot. It was Louis Jadot Pinot Noir from, I want to say 1990, or maybe it was 92. It was a pretty old Pinot Noir. And it smelled like rainwater, and tasted like rainwater, like the, how do you describe it? It smelled like the ground after a rainstorm. And it tasted like it too, but again, not in a bad way. It was delicious, and it was something I'd never experienced before, because there was still some fruit. 25-year-old, probably more, 25-ish, I don't remember the exact year, I have to look it up honestly, but it was old. It was 25 years, 20, 25 years old for sure. Pinot Noir from, and this was like not one of their crazy expensive $300 burgundies either. This one, I may have paid $100 for this, and that's, for a 25-year-old wine, $100, you're getting, not the entry level stuff, but maybe level 2, right? And there's a lot of different levels. It was not a Gevrey-Chambertin or one of the high-end regions in France. It was, I think it was, well, I don't remember what it was, honestly. I have to look it up, like I said, but it was delicious. But the rainwater is what got to me. And I'll never forget that wine as long as I live. And BC wines, like, even after 25 years, well, who knows what this would be like, but you're not going to get that kind of rainwater. You get the earthiness and those kind of things from France, mostly. But as I swirl this, as I just talked to you, swirl this, the red cherries, the wild strawberries, fresh raspberries, crushed raspberries, almost like raspberry jam without the sweetness to it. But they're. That's a lovely wine. Right now, I would say I like the 2017 better, but of course it's a year older. We will see what this is like in a couple hours once I get to drink it with my dinner, which I'm going to go make in a few minutes. Yes, lovely. Pinot Noir. If you got any questions about Pinot Noir, leave them to me in the comments, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And otherwise, go out and drink a nice Pinot Noir tonight. Next up, I am in the middle of shooting a video, a 3-year vertical of Gruner Veltliner from Comina in BC. And I'm 2/3 through it. I'm not doing it all at once because my wife's not drinking a ton right now, so I'm not drinking 3 bottles, and so you can pick it off the floor. So I've done 2/3 of it. Tomorrow I'll probably do the 2016, or maybe sometime later this week. So in the next few days to a week, I'll post that video all together so you can see the 2014, 2015, 2016 side by side. And then we'll still get some more blind tastings. Hopefully this weekend coming up, we're going to do a blind tasting. Because we're really looking forward to that, and I've got a few really good wines to taste the wife on. So, until then, thanks for checking out the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I will see you guys next time. Have a good one.